Sweden first.
Sweden first. Okay, let me
Three,
just get
two,
Sweden up.
one, and we're live. Hi everyone. I am back with another video. This time I'm joined by Russell Wright of the Welsh WTC team. Hi Russell.
Hi, Bo. How are you?
I'm good. And I
I
guess you're.
should, sorry, I should just caveat, I'm not going this year. So, so
Yep.
I'm in the WTC team
Yep.
last 2 years, but not this year.
Yep.
So,
Not this year. Right. But you are an experienced WTC player, and you are an experienced TO, and you are running your own sort of rival international tournament this fall as well, the World Open War tournament. So and you're sort of, because you're not going, you're more or less a neutral asset here, for
yeah.
me to dip into, and for everyone to. So I'm going to try and limit my comments to a minimum because I am going. And Russell, I would really like your thoughts as we go along. The concept here will be that I will read the list, and you can sort of give us your reaction to it, more or
Yep,
less.
sounds good.
Right. We are going to start with the Swedish lists. Now, Sweden is a new WTC team this year, and we actually met them. We went to a tournament in Sweden, some of my guys, and played against some of these guys. So, and they told us they were really cool fellows, and they were not bad at all. So, the first list that we're going to look at will be the British one from Sweden, which is a 17 orderized list. It's got a few points left over. Um, Maybe you just couldn't find someone to take that SMG, I guess. It's got an inexperienced lieutenant, 2 men. It's got Gurkha paratroopers with double submachine guns,
Mm.
so a 7-man unit. 2 of those, the free forward observer with an extra man as well. Canadian engineers, 2 of those. Rather large units here. And a military police corps, 4 men. I guess someone wanted a cheap infantry unit at the end. Then, of course, they've got the Indians as well. I think we're going to see a lot of these as we go along the lists.
yeah, probably. We
Um,
shouldn't be seeing them though. If you read the book, I'm adamant. The book says, and the FAQ says, they are only available
yep,
when taken for a list from Western Desert, and this
yep,
is a British reinforced. But
yep.
my understanding is the WTC decided they were going to allow them, so
They
it's not
were,
an
yep,
error. They
yep,
they actively decided to allow them. So
yep. And then we have an inexperienced medium mortar, a flamethrower team, land mattress, long range desert group, the armed truck with the autocannon,
hmm.
and some trucks here, pintle mounted MMGs on those, and a darker version Stuart. What do you think?
um, hmm. Interesting. There's a lot of choices there that are unusual. So
Mm,
what the player's done, first of all, he's got 17 dice is a big number. He has got a mix of that regular and inexperienced infantry sections. I
yep,
like that because it means you
yep,
think about what their jobs are. He's gone with the Royal Canadian Engineers because you're allowed to take more than one.
yep,
With the other British ones, you're only allowed one. So that's just a specific rule. But other than that, they're no different to the
yep,
British ones. They're just allowed. Gurkha Paras, well, we all know what Gurkha Paras do.
yep.
He's got 7-man squads. I quite like that. I think that's the
Mm.
way to go with them. Do we know what his special rule is for the British?
Well, it's the Indian special
Oh,
rule, so
Indian
yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah,
Right, yeah, the one we're discussing. Yeah,
yeah,
so that gets him in 10-3 regulars.
yeah.
Inexperienced mortar. I think that's a risk. To be
It
honest,
is.
if you don't have a sniper in your list,
Mm,
and your opponent's got a list, and you decide to field inexperienced mortars, you are creating a problem for yourself. I
yeah,
think, because that sniper can sit there. He's got no real forward deployers, so he's
yeah.
got nothing he can do to get rid of a sniper in a good position, and it could sit there just taking out his mortar teams. So that's a risk.
And yeah, it is a risk, and he's going to rely on the terrain of the board to try and save him from that. But
Yeah, he's going to
we
have
don't
to. But
we
the
don't we
problem
don't
is
actually
WTC. So
yeah,
I'm
we don't
guessing he
actually
won't be able
know
to
what
fly.
that will be like.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
The same with the land mattress. Again, the land mattress, I think technically is not allowed
Mm.
in a reinforced platoon for
But
the British.
was for the
So
WTC. Yeah,
clearly they've decided to allow it,
yeah,
which is fair enough. Every tournament, I think, should make their own decisions, and
yep,
good for them that
yep.
they've done that.
And
Uh,
that's what Warlord Games also says every time you
yeah,
ask them about something.
absolutely.
That make your own mind up. You can play however you want. So
Yeah, I think
that's
it's a good policy.
yeah,
Um, Obviously, he's got a Daka Stewart because if you can get access to one, why wouldn't you take one?
yeah,
There are some British lists out there that would let him get more than one Daka Stewart. So picking a reinforced platoon, I'm not certain I'd have done that.
No.
And the other thing,
but it does give him access to all the toys, right?
It does, absolutely. It means he can pick from all the other selections. So, for example, he's got his LRDG armed truck in there, which has got recce, lots of machine guns. So he's got another DACA unit. So that's good. I like that. He's then got a couple of trucks with pin tools. I think the problem he's got is anyone who's got long range weaponry, he's just going to be picking him off quite early. And look, I don't know the guy. He may be a great player, so he may be very good at hiding them. But if WTC terrain is as it has been the last couple of years, I just think this list could be cut up quite badly early on.
It could get pinned down. It really could. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So that would be a concern. To be honest, if he's a good player and he's used to it, I'm sure he'll do well with it. And we know most people will be good.
Yeah.
But I'm not a fan. I think you can tell that.
Right. Then we have the second list, which was a little bit weird, and I'm not actually sure what this is. I think it's Allied Romanians.
Okay. So this is a way of getting two Russian lists into your options.
It is. Yeah.
They are so similar to the Russians. It's like having a second Russian option.
Yeah, it is.
Do you know how many dice he had for this one?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 11, 13. A lot.
Yeah. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Looks like 19 to me. Again, this is a really interesting list. This is very different. So he's got 4 infantry sections. They're all 11 man, they're all inexperienced. Interesting. I'm not certain that 11 man inexperienced infantry sections are going to get objectives for you. It's going to be tough. He's then got MHCTLS. I've got to be honest, I don't know what that means.
No, me neither.
Right, we need to go and have a look at that. Maybe come back and check.
Yeah.
Because it's a bit hard.
But it says command here, so could it be some sort of tankette? Maybe?
Well, that would make sense because he's got 4 trucks, so he's got enough trucks to carry all his men. So that would suggest this is a tank platoon.
Yeah.
And he's got tows for his kit. He's got a jeep as well, in the inexperienced jeep for the mortar team, presumably.
Yeah.
If it's a 3-man mortar team. So yeah, it must be a tank platoon. So that MHCTLS is a tank. I'd have to go and have a look at it.
And at that points level, it's a tankette of some sort.
Yeah.
I think that this list suffers from all those inexperienced dudes. They're very likely to get cut down quite badly. And tank platoons, you're going to need some infantry that sticks around. Otherwise, you're in trouble for the WTC, where tanks cannot contest objectives and cannot claim objectives. So yeah,
that's going to be a tough list to play.
It is.
Again, caveat is there's very good players coming to the tournament. So and if they're used to the list, but for me, I would struggle to play with that list and do well, I think.
I would as well. I don't think I would know how to play it. Also because you've got static elements in the artillery and a lot of mobile elements with the trucks and the horde of infantry there. I'm not sure how I would play.
It's an interesting mix of units. Isn't it? Yeah.
Hammer and anvil. Right. Then we've got list number 3, which is a German reinforced platoon, 14 order dice. It's got a regular lieutenant with an extra man, storm pioneers with all the trimmings, and it's got 2 of those, and then a unit of Brandenburgers, Feldgendarmers, and the Waffen-SS cavalry on horseback. So 8 men of those. Inexperienced mortar team, flamethrower team, Nebelwerfer, motorcycle, Flamingo Flammpanzer, and then 2 trucks and a Kugelwagen.
Yeah. One thing I'd say it suffers from all the weaknesses German list suffers from. It doesn't have access to that excellent. Ironically enough, for the Germans, it doesn't have access to a tank that's a DACA tank unless you take the new Panzer III. And Flamingos are great tanks, but if he runs up into other tanks, how's he going to kill them? The flamethrowers could get close, maybe. Brandenburger. I like 1 unit of Brandenburgers. But
that will control the board somewhat, and
it's expensive, but it gives you some opportunity to control. Did you notice the Storm Pioneer units have got one of them's got a Sturmpistole?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
really rare. So that's fascinating.
Yeah.
It's nice to see new things being tried.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, 5
It's got
Cell
that shape
Gendarme.
charge +3, so it's basically
Mm,
a repeatable Panzerfaust, something like that.
mm. Here's your question for
Mini.
you.
Yeah.
Mm. He's got a Cell Gendarme unit,
Mm.
which
Yep.
you would typically use to make sure inexperienced or shirker units fight.
Yep.
But all his infantry sections are veteran. So I wonder
Yep.
what he's thinking with that.
Yep.
Unless
I have.
it's because I think
It's
he wants to flank and he
uh,
doesn't want the
yeah.
-1.
The traffic direction is what
Yeah,
he's going to use here, I think. Yeah.
yeah, which makes sense actually because he's got flamethrowers in there.
Yeah.
So he's
And
going to try and flank the
he might even
flamethrowers in.
outflank with his flamingo if he
Mm,
comes up against enemy tanks.
yeah, it's definitely a flame list, isn't it? There's a lot of
It is.
flamethrowers in it.
Yeah.
That what 5?
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, I don't mind this. Off the 3 so far, this is the one I prefer.
Mm.
Yeah, you could do stuff with this.
Yeah. You could.
It'd be hard to play, but yeah, absolutely. It's interesting.
Right.
Yeah, I like this.
Mm. Then we got list number 4. Oh, this was the Allied Romanian. I don't know what the other thing
Oh,
was.
we should go back and check that maybe later.
Maybe one of
To
the
be fair
Swedes
to it.
will comment on this video and tell us what it is, because I have no idea. Right. 15 order dice, Allied Romanians, 1944. So we've got an inexperienced lieutenant. We've got LMG units here, late war infantry with rifles. We've got a
And
commissar
LMGs, interestingly
and
enough.
LMGs as well.
Mm.
We've got a commissar. We got another LMG unit here, and then combat pioneers, 3 of those. Medium mortar team, inexperienced. We got the M42, which is an anti-tank gun, a
Mm-hmm.
horse-drawn Nimber, the TACAM tank destroyer, and then some trucks.
I think the reason he's got 3 combat pioneer units is he gets one of them for free. I
Yeah,
think with the
but
rules for this list, he gets a free infantry section if he's
he
already got
does.
2 of them.
But where is it?
Well, so he's got
Because you have to
3.
buy 3 and then get 1 for free.
Oh, it's buy 3 and get 1 for free, is it? I thought it was buy 2, get 1 for free, but I bow to your knowledge on this one because I don't know this well.
Yeah.
But it's 6 infantry sections. That's good. They're all regular. Okay.
Yep.
It's got 3 with flamethrowers, so we see more
Yep.
flamethrowers again. LMGs. I be honest, for 20 points, I don't think they're worth taking. I think that's the general view on them.
And the
Again,
thing that surprised me here is that no Panzerfausts. And you
no,
can take Panzerfaust with the Romanians.
that's a really interesting choice. That he's
Yeah.
only really got one anti-tank option, which is attack them,
Yeah.
and then he's got the flamethrowers, and that's it really. Again, he's got an inexperienced mortar with no sniper to protect it. I would worry about that. No, not a fan of this one, I'm afraid. He may be a good player, but that is going to be very hard to run successfully.
It is.
And if he does well, he's a good player.
Yeah.
It may well be. No, not
For me, going up against the Swedish team, I would want to play against this list.
I would want to play that with almost anything I've got. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, knowing my luck, I then get burnt to pieces.
Right. Last Swedish list, which is the Soviet one. Soviet reinforced platoon. So again, not a theater list, not a tank platoon, just a reinforced here. And they've got an inexperienced junior lieutenant. They've got scouts, 2 of those, 6-man units, pretty good. Submachine guns, all of them, veteran. Nasty forward deployers here. And then we've got assault engineers, mounted recon, again with flamethrower, so 3 flamethrower units here. The free rifle squad, inexperienced mortar, 3 dog mine teams. And then comes the M30, which we just before we started recording talked a little bit about this. The M30 and this one is without the spotter.
I don't get it. Why are you taking an M30 with no spotter? I think you hit it though. Sorry, John.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is that you want the Stuart in your tank selection, because otherwise you could just take a Katusha there and have the multiple rocket launcher there.
Absolutely, but there are Russian lists that would allow him to take 2 cats or take a cat plus.
Yeah.
So he could take, say, Silo Heights that allows 2 tanks.
Yep.
So he could do that if he wants to. So the M30 is an active decision.
Yep.
And again, the M30s I think are great, but you need. But the reason they're great is if they're regular, they've got a spotter, you can't hurt them. It's very frustrating to have an MLRS hitting you that you can't touch.
Yep.
So.
And then at the end here, he's got 3 Lend-Lease universal carriers with the pintle-mounted LMG. So it becomes a sort of tank platoon, right, with 4 armored vehicles rushing at you.
He's putting the recce units in it, I guess. He's got 2 mounted reconnaissance units, and he's got an engineer unit, so they must be the ones using it, I guess.
Yeah.
And they're small teams, though. They're regular. They're 5-man regular. The mounted recce. If they're in a Bren gun and there's anywhere near me, I'm going to charge it with infantry and force them out. That might be tough. Not bad, but I do think you can build a better Russian list.
I think using theatre platoons, you could boost this a little bit. Do you think he might want to try and do some outflanking with one of his carriers here?
Potentially. They're regular, so there is a risk of them not coming on. But yeah, if you can flank them in, that would work. The problem is he's going to have a couple of missions where that's not an option. Someone's bound to flank him because they go after that M30.
Yeah.
And
again, that is going to happen.
Again, he's got an inexperienced mortar again with no sniper to protect it. So maybe I'm completely wrong on this. Maybe it's me that's wrong. It's quite possible. But it's not a risk
again, for me, it really depends on the tables. If you got enough line of sight blocking terrain, I would always deploy my mortars out of sight anyway, because the enemy might have that sniper. I would deploy them behind the line of sight blocking terrain, and then move them out as soon as I saw where the sniper was.
Yeah, but that means for 25 points, which is the extra cost, you've lost a turn of firing, which is important for the mortar. So
it is.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from on that, but not the way I'd probably use it.
No.
Be interesting to see how it does. I like the dog mines.
Yep.
That's going to be useful, especially as
that is going to be really useful with this amount of tanks. Right. Then we have the Irish. The Irish are a repeat team, although I do think that they are new players, most of them.
Oh, right, okay.
So I don't actually know. I just heard a rumor that they were not the same players that we saw in Cork.
Okay.
Right. So the first Irish list is a 14 order dice Italian reinforced platoon. Yeah. Someone's got great big balls of fire here. Oh man.
I didn't see that coming.
Nope. Second lieutenant, inexperienced. Then a large unit of regular infantry, a guastatori group with double flamethrowers.
Double flamethrowers. Yeah.
2 late war Paraducci with the double Fausts as well. Inexperienced mortar, sniper team. Anti-tank rifle team, light howitzer, tractor for that, and auto blinder. This is I really like auto blinders.
I like this. I like this list actually.
Yeah, I just wish it wasn't Italian.
If you want to build Italians, this is the way to go. This is about as good an Italian list as you're ever going to see.
Yeah, it is. And then we have the M15, of course, the darker tank, and 2 trucks. Yeah. So this is actually a good list.
I don't mind this at all because he's got the auto blinder, it's got recce, so it can survive the anti-tank. And then he's got the 20 shots he's going to get from the M15. Just don't let it get any near any anti-tank because it will just go boom really quickly.
like all Stuarts, all darker tanks, they don't like any anti-tank weapons.
One thing that might work to his advantage here is he's been very sensible with his infantry units. They're veteran or they're large. So he hasn't got many small targets, just the medium mortar maybe. Even the vets, the veteran, because he's worried about the Avanti rule where they could lose 3 dice. I've known opponents to get overexcited when they see an Italian list and try and get 3 kills and they play too aggressively and open themselves up to a counter. So if he's wise, so if he puts the armor in, say, reserve, and it manages to come on, which is always a challenge for these guys, he could do a really nice job of countering. So I don't mind this list. It's going to come across much tougher lists, obviously. We both know that. But he's given himself a shot at some wins with this. Sorry, Bo, you've just cut out on sound. Let me just check.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, Bo. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there.
Yeah. I don't know. My headset cut out. No, I think if he can stay alive, he may be in good shape because he's got good units in this list. So he just needs to keep them alive. He needs to play conservatively and not end up in situations where he's like that 3 order dice down.
Agreed. But with a bit of luck, his opponent, as I say, could be reckless, and that may open up opportunities. I like it. It's going to be fun. I'm glad someone's taken. Well, it could be the spoof, but if it's not the spoof, it'd be nice to see an Italian list, probably for the first time ever at WTC.
Then the second platoon here is a 8th Roofed Army, which is a Chinese army. It's the Chinese communists. So it's 16 organized, 1,000 points, second lieutenant inexperienced, and then loads of guerrillas with pistols. So the pistolero, forward deploying shenanigans, and some of them has even got anti-tank grenades, so they can charge your stewards if you deploy them wrong. They've all got fieldcraft, and then the levy squad, of course, 14 men, an inexperienced medium mortar, an inexperienced heavy mortar, and then a load of suiciders, inexperienced, and a mountain gun, and a captured Hogoku Go.
If you were going to capture a tank, the 92 is not the tank you want to be capturing.
No.
But there you go. I like this. He's clearly got a strategy, which is, okay, so the Chinese list got nerfed a few years ago. Because they were able to get into your back 12 inches on turn 1, get into combat, and they can't quite do that anymore. But nevertheless, he's got veteran cells. He can forward deploy them. He can move them quickly on turn 1, and he can control the board. And you have then got to remove him. So he's going to have board control in most scenarios, and he will sit there and say, okay, you now need to move the guerrillas. The reason they've got pistols, they're not going to shoot at anything. They just need to, they're basically speed bumps. So they're going to go out there, and you have to remove them. And if you charge them, they're tough fighter vets. And they're going to be in hard cover if you can find it. Yeah, I like that.
And they're quite large units. They're 9-man units, so it's not going to be easy to remove these.
No, that's right. And then while they're, so he's got what, 5 of them? Yeah, sorry, 6 of them.
6, yeah.
That's going to be a real challenge for someone to take on. And then he's got what, another 2 infantry section. Sorry, 1 more infantry section.
Yeah.
Which is the 3
the levy. Yeah.
The mortars are going to hit you. So he's got 2 mortars, which he can, and a mountain gun. The mountain gun can fire indirect. So he could put them. He could be putting 3 HE shots on you whilst you try and clear out. So mission dependent, they won't work so well, for example, in sectors. But mission dependent, actually, they could do.
Yeah, you could forward deploy them. You could forward deploy them in sectors.
Yeah. It's a list that is very vulnerable to certain types of counter. So actually, the flamer list will probably just burn this off the board.
Yes.
Because the flamers can deploy, they can move within 6, and they will just burn away. Yeah. But that is so with the right matchup, this would be horrible to play. I like it. I like this a lot.
It's really. I would not want to face that one.
No.
Right. Then the next one is a 14 organized British reinforced list. We already know where this is going to go. Yeah. We got a 2nd lieutenant inexperienced. We've got Gurkha sections. 1, 2, 3 Gurkha, 4 Gurkha sections, 7 men. 3 forward artillery observer, a commando section. I guess he had a few points left over, wanted to take something different.
Yeah, he should have spent that on Gurkhas. But
he should have.
Maybe
Up and Adam, medium mortar, inexperienced, sniper team, regular, flamethrower team, heavy artillery piece, heavy howitzer, and a tractor, and a stag hound and jeep.
Yeah, kind of. It's a bit cookie cut, if you don't mind me saying. I'm surprised there's no Stuart. That was what I was looking for as I went through it. Staghound is kind of like the British version of the Puma these days, isn't it? Because he's got that nice anti-tank gun, recce, armor 8. That's things for you. Scannel truck, that's just for the artillery. So heavy artillery can now move on the board, can't it? There was an FAQ.
It can. So you don't actually need the tractor.
No, so maybe he could have saved points there. It's interesting. Again, he's got an inexperienced mortar, but he has got a sniper to give it some protection. I like that. Lots of infantry. Gurkhas are always good. Again, I suppose the criticism is maybe you could have done more with the list.
I think you could have at least gotten 2 armored vehicles, a Stuart to match your stack count, and you might have to cut down the commando section, but for me that's no great loss.
Agreed. Yeah.
And especially they've got the submachine guns, but they haven't really got any transport, so they're going to have to foot slug it up with those submachine guns.
Well, I think he's going to flank them because that's the only reason I'd go get Commando, not Gurkha, because of the behind enemy lines rule. So maybe that's the plan. You flank them in, and all of a sudden you put in 16 shots into something.
Yep.
So yeah, that can work. It's expensive though, as you say.
It is very expensive.
A lot of points to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't mind this. It's okay. Not as good as it could be maybe, but yeah, looks like a solid list. Yeah.
Then they've got a 13 order dice French reinforced platoon, second lieutenant, inexperienced. Then the Senegalese, two of those, 2 Moroccans as well, and a cavalry section. So very sturdy infantry sections here. Medium mortar, inexperienced, 2 artillery pieces, howitzers, of course. No spotters though. The AMD Panhard, the Hotchkiss, and then 2 Laffies.
The Laffies, because they get double MMG, so you suddenly got 10.
That is amazing.
Now they've got a transport of, I think it's only 6.
10 men.
Is it 10 men, the Laffies?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's more than I realised. Okay.
So you can actually stick your Moroccans or Senegalese into one of those and transport them up.
I must admit, that's an unusual. Only 13 dice for a French list is somewhat unusual. He's focusing on tough fighters. He's got loads of tough fighter units. He's including the cavalry. So he wants to get into a punch up with you, doesn't he? That's why they're all 8 9-man units.
Yep.
So they can, that's interesting. I think it will struggle, if I'm honest, because I think there are other lists that do this better than the French. But yeah, it's something different. 13 dice. That's right on the cusp of being too low, I think.
Yeah, it is a low.
It's okay, but that's going to be out. He'll struggle with that list, I think. But
if it's a player who knows what he's doing and who knows how to play assault armies, I think you can get away with it. But it is in the low end, and it does have weaknesses.
Definitely, yeah. I wouldn't mind playing against that. I'd be quite happy today. So.
Yeah, me as well. Right. Then, of course, we've got the Cedar Heights, but this is a very unusual one because it's got 10 order dice.
10? What has he done? Let's have a look.
I don't know. It's got a junior lieutenant with an extra man inexperienced, so it's not the lieutenant.
2 points.
Yeah. Then assault engineers, huge
yeah.
units of assault engineers with body armor. It's got 2 Death Star units of assault engineers, 237 points each. Then it's got the free rifle squad, medium mortar inexperienced, Sis 3, and double stewards and a double truck.
So they're actually half-track trucks as well. So he's given himself a little bit of the ability to drive through woods.
Yeah.
And come out of cover. So he's going to load the 2 Death Stars into the trucks.
Yes.
Lead out with the stewards.
And just wait to find an opportunity to pounce on you.
I'll be honest, as scary as an assault engineer squad is, that's 10 men with body armor. Yeah. Once it's out of the truck, it's not moving anywhere. Yep. It's slow, and the fact he's got 2 of them, that's 474 points into 2 units. I just think it's a fun idea, but you can play around it. So if that was an opponent, it's horrible if it gets close to you. So don't let it get close to you. Yeah. Although those half tracks give him a shot, but getting them up into your face. Yeah. And as I say, when the half track blows up, he won't care. Because half track gets hit, gets blown up. Yep. His unit, he gets a free dismount at that point, so he can run it up the board. Yep. Half track's blown up. He gets D6 hits, but only getting killed on a 6.
But would you even shoot at the half track?
Well, you might have to, just to stop them getting too close to you. But you'd have to do it early.
I would just
otherwise just leave it alone.
Fire and pin him down, and as soon as he's got 3 pins, I would ignore it.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's the way to try and deal with that. But my goodness, I'd love to watch it play.
Yeah,
but I'm not.
No matter what, no matter how, no matter win or lose, he's going to have fun. If those hit, it's going to be mayhem. Right.
Excellent.
And that was it for Ireland. So next up, we're going to look at the Netherlands. Now, the Dutch, they had some interesting lists, and they're good players.
They're going to need to be, I think, Bo, if I'm honest. But look, they could prove me completely wrong. But these lists they're not the UK meta, which I'm used to. So what do I know? But
right.
Anyway, sorry, please.
Let's go. Right. So the first list is a 1944 Burma list, 16 order dice, and we've got a second lieutenant that's regular. This is a Japanese list, by the way. It's not the British one. So we've got the regular lieutenant, we've got IGA rifleman, and then bamboo. So 2 rifle squads there, 3 rifle squads, 4 rifle squads, a bamboo squad, and an engineer squad. Then a single suicider, double heavy mortars, inexperienced, double suicide here, so that's the third, 3 suiciders, a Kuragane transport, a captured steward, light truck, and another Kuragane. So the first Kuragane was an armored car.
Yeah. So this is very different for a Japanese list. A lot of infantry, so that's fairly standard. But he's done something interesting here. The bamboo unit is only 9 men, which means I don't think it's very scary. The bamboo units only work because they're big. Actually, they're 9 inexperienced guys who can't shoot at you. Like, big deal. Please do run at me. I'll shoot a few of you. And then even if you reach me, you're not really going to hurt me. The engineering unit, that kind of does an anti-tank role for him as well. He's suicide bombers, all 3 of them are veteran. That's so he can try and get them. So he's probably going to charge through fire to try and get them into targets, which makes them more dangerous. But it does also mean he spent 78 points from 3 suicide bombers.
They become almost twice as expensive, don't they?
Yeah. He's then got his 2 heavy mortars, and again, no sniper. So clearly, I'm the one who's not meta here. Everyone's doing it. And then the reason he's gone Burma, I think, is so he can get the captured steward.
Yeah, that's the captured steward. It's a combination of Japanese and the steward. I think that was the draw for this list.
Yeah, like some solid infantry there, but there's nothing there out of the ordinary that would worry you too much, I think. So yeah.
And he is going to foot slug from most of his infantry as well. So
he's only got 1 light truck and 1 Kuragane, and
that's for the engineers, and the Kuragane maybe for some suiciders. Maybe
that's a bit weird. You put them in there, and it'd be like a clown car, wouldn't it? Them jumping out.
But you could stick your lieutenant in, and then a few suiciders, and then go for the back lines or something.
Maybe for grabbing objectives.
Yeah,
you could use it in that way. Yeah, maybe.
Right. So that was the first Dutch list. Second one is the Peleliu US Marines. 13 order dice. It's got an inexperienced second lieutenant. It's got regular US Marine squads, 1, 2 of those with BARs, loads of BARs. And then the Peleliu double flamethrower assault units, 2 of those. Yeah. And a veteran with tough fighter pistols in it. US Marines as well. Medium mortar with a spotter. Double bazooka, war dog, and a Sherman and some trucks.
Yeah, well, he's got 5 infantry sections, and they're all doing different jobs. So like that, he's got the 2. I think you call them skirmishers. So I think the 2 with the BARs at the start, the regulars would be your skirmishers.
Yeah.
He's got 2 flame units, and they're double flamethrower.
Yeah.
So are they double flamethrower? Yeah, they are. So in theory, he gets 2 shots. So his chances of them being successful is much, much higher. Goes from about 50% to about 67% statistically. And then the vet squad with the pistols, that's his combat unit. He can get them into combat, and he's also put stubborn on them. Yeah. So they can take a punishment.
They can take the flamethrower to the face and still stay up. And because they're such a large unit, 8 man, they can take a lot of punishment before they go down. So I guess they're a distraction to soak up enemy fire and maybe push objectives.
Yeah, I agree with that. 2 bazookas, I can see why you'd do that, and that's one of the advantages of this selector. It lets you take 2 bazookas. I think it lets you take a mortar that you can fire direct as well. I would have maybe thought about using that. I don't know why he's taken the war dog, unless he wants cheap dice, but it's 18 points.
He wants the cheap order dice, I think.
Yeah, it's about as cheap as you can get off the US, I guess. Yeah. So that's probably your thinking there. And it can take objectives, so, might be useful. The M4A1 Sherman, I guess it lets you buy a tank for 195 points. So there is that, but it's a bit standard. It's a very standard tank. and he's got his 2.5 ton.
I will say this for it. It's a 9+ with a medium anti-tank gun, and in an environment where we are expecting to see a lot of stewards.
Yeah,
the medium anti-tank gun is very useful.
Yeah, and your armor 9 means you can drive up. You've got longer range, so if you can be more than 24 inches away, you could potentially be hitting on 3s. And your armor is 9, which means the steward with a light anti-tank needs a 6 to glance you.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. So that's a good matchup.
It is a good matchup, and it's a good list as well. I like I like the dedicated units.
It shows someone who's thought about it. It's not one of the strongest lists we're going to see here, but it's definitely a list that someone's thought about. Yeah.
Right. Third Dutch list. That will be the Silo Heights, and this is a 15 order dice list. Junior lieutenant inexperienced, double tank riders, 7-man squad, submachine guns, assault engineers, 2 of those, and 2 Strafbats as well.
And as soon as you saw those 2 tank rider units, you know what he's going to have.
That was obvious from the start, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Double mortars, 1 heavy, 1 medium, inexperienced, both of them. And then the M30, again without the spotter.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on here. But of course, he's got a lot of stuff that he can deploy and start just shooting indirectly with. So he might just think, enemy snipers, I don't care. I don't know. Then a gas jeep with MG and double stewards, of course, and a single truck. Notice here, he's got a single truck.
Yeah, it is a larger truck. It's got capacity of 12. You could easily put both engineers in.
You can.
If you wanted to. So that's a lot. Oh no, you can't actually.
No, one of the engineers units is too large. So
yeah, no, he can.
One engineer unit is going to have to foot slug it.
No, you can get both in both. One of them's 7 men and one of them's 5 men. So you could put both in if you want to do.
Yeah. I thought they were
probably built
6.
it to do that. I would imagine. Fair play. That's interesting. And then, of course, they haven't got body armor. So you've decided not to pay the extra for the body armor. No. I can understand that. Look, if you're playing that, you fire at the Stuart straight away just to get the tank riders off of them. You know that will happen. It's solid. Yeah, it's a good Silo Heights list. It's got everything about Silo Heights that means people don't like Silo Heights.
Yep. Exactly. Right. Then we have here the Canadian Infantry Division. Now, me and Alistair, we actually talked about this one recently, and it's a really good theatre selector. It's got 18 order dice. It's got a Canadian inexperienced lieutenant. It's got a few skirmish riflemen inexperienced here. I'm not sure about why they're inexperienced, though. Maybe they're backline holders instead.
Yeah, I guess so. He's trying to save points, isn't he? Stuff.
Forward observer for 3. Then field engineers, 3 of those with flamethrowers. He's got the hate the SS and stubborn, so he can actually take a few flamethrowers to the face if he needs to. Medium mortar team, inexperienced.
Sorry, Bo. Just on that rule though, hate the SS. I think that only activates against SS units.
It does.
So his opponents want to be careful of that. Make sure they go, no, I'm playing Japanese. You don't get it. He's not going to have many opponents he can use that against, I think.
Yeah. Inexperienced medium mortar, peer team, flamethrower team. So that's 4 flamethrowers in the list. Light howitzer, 25-pounder howitzer, a stack hound, and this is the medium anti-tank gun version. So it's the tank hunter version. Mortar carrier, inexperienced, and brain carriers, 3 of those, and 2 jeeps.
It's different. It's really different. So it's MSU. He wants lots of small units.
Yeah.
He's going to put the engineers obviously into flamethrowers. Sorry, he's put the engineers
in the brain carriers. Yeah.
And he has got 1, 2, 3 brain guns. There you go, 3 flamethrower teams. He's got a jeep for one of the other flamethrowers. So it's unusual. It's a British flame list, and you don't really see them. So 10 out of 10 for originality. I'd be happy to play it though. It's a good list, but he's got a lot of open top vehicles.
He does. But imagine this list going up against that Chinese list we reviewed just before.
Oh, this would, scissor, paper, stone. This I think would beat the Chinese list, hands down. And then it will lose to a list with longer range weapons. But That's the other great thing. We can comment on the list, and I can be quite aggressive and quite negative. But the fact of the matter is, if it comes up against a certain other list, it doesn't matter what I think of it. It's got to perform well.
Yeah. So a good barbecue list with some deficiencies here. Like final list for the Dutch will be 8th Army in Italy, and it's a 16 order dice list. So again, I think they actually allowed the Canadians to be a separate nation for the WTC.
Oh, okay.
So I don't think they are going to drop one of these, or going to have to drop one of them. They could have, of course, still dropped one. It's got an inexperienced lieutenant, 2 men. It's got 7-man rifle sections, regular. It's got an artillery observer, more rifle sections, and then a Gurkha section, 7 men. Yeah. Piat, rapid fire for all those rifles, double medium howitzers. It hasn't got the 25-pounder though.
That's weird. Well, not weird. No, that's good. It's different. Most British players would take the 25-pounder because you've got the +4 anti-tank shell, but he's gone with the medium howitzers. So I like it. It's different.
But he's gone with the templates. Yeah, it's different. Then double mule teams, I guess, very, very cheap order dice here.
Nice.
And the airborne recce jeep, of course you take that because it's just so dirt cheap. And then double
priests.
Double priests. Yeah. So this is a line of riflemen in front of all your HE, basically.
Yeah, it's a gun line, isn't it? Wow.
It is.
You don't see many lists like this. So yeah, 2 medium artilleries and the double priests, 320. He's put 490 points into gun systems.
Yeah.
So, that's a surprise.
That is a.
Go on, sorry, guys.
It's a lot of points to sink into your heavy guns. They're going to have to do the work for you, and especially because all of them are pinnable. So
yeah, that's the problem. The problem he's going to have is, as you say, the priests, they're open top. So if your opponent can start getting pins down on you, you're going to struggle to make this work. And the regular infantry are a little bit soft. 7-man teams. I think a good player could do well with this. But it's not an obvious strong list to my mind. But I'm glad to see it because it's different. We like to see different lists.
Right. Then we're going to Spain4. Now Spain4, there was a little bit of a mix-up. So they initially were labeled as Sweden 2, but they were the emergency drop-in team that the home nation sets up.
Right, that's good. Good that they had it in place then, because it was needed. So that's good. That's good preparation by the Spanish and by the organisers to have a team ready.
Yeah.
I'll give them that.
And I really like the fact that the Spanish can set up 4 teams and just say, right, just go. Call us if you need us. That's really cool. So let's go and look at their lists. The first one we've got is a German tank platoon, 15 order dice. It's got the Panzer III, the darker version, with the command tank, then a Flammpanzer, and the 250/9 autocannon recce jeep, recce half-track, the 222, and a Panzerwerfer. So all that's good in the German list.
Wow,
one of each.
It's like I just love it. I'm sorry, I'll be quiet because the same thing happens with the infantry bow, doesn't it? Have you seen what he's done there?
Yeah, it does, because the infantry's got Storm Pioneers, it's got Volksgrenadiers, and then it's got Hitler Youth.
Yeah.
Yep. And then we've got a medium mortar team, flamethrower team, Nebelwerfer. So again, with the teams, ding, 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 just picking out what's good, what he needs. A horse-drawn limber, and some trucks and a Kugelwagen.
Yeah, it's interesting. The trucks as well, they've got no MMGs on them. They're purely there to transport stuff.
Yeah.
So he's in free infantry going there to grab objectives, I guess. That's his problem. He's only got free infantry sections.
Yeah.
So on certain missions, he's up against it.
If these die, he's going to be in real trouble.
The one thing I will say for what I love about this list is it's a guy who has really thought carefully about his combination of tanks. So he's got Panzer III with 18 shots, Flamingo with flame. He's got the autocannon, in the Hanomag. He's got the 222 armored car with another autocannon and with Recce, and he's got a Panzerwerfer, so he's got 2 MLRS systems.
Yeah.
Or it's someone who's grabbed a load of toys out of the back of his shed, and these are the only models he's got, so he's put them together. But I think it's better than that.
Everything in the list.
It just looks like that because it's funny. I love it because I've never seen a list built like this. It's brilliant. And because it's a Spanish player, it might be Spain4, but we know how good some of their players are. Who knows?
Even the Spain4, I would expect that they could compete.
I would imagine so. Yeah. So no, I kind of. Is it a good list? It's different again.
Maybe
I think
maybe
it's
good
going to
list.
struggle.
Yeah.
It will struggle because of the infantry, and I think a lot of people bring in anti-tank assets because they were expecting tanks.
But imagine this in the hands of one of their top players. I'm thinking about Achilles or something like that.
Or Alice or someone.
They would definitely know what they were doing, and they would have a plan for each of these units. And just because they have different units, it means you have different capabilities as well. So you have a whole range of options, and a good player can really exploit that.
Definitely agree.
Right.
And that's what makes me nervous. It's a Spanish list, so it may look like it's been thrown together out of bits that's left over, but be careful.
They may know exactly what they're doing. Then we have a Guadalcanal US list, 12 order dice. It's got a veteran second lieutenant. It's got Marine squads with BARs. 2 of those. It's got Marine raiders. 2 of those, again BARs and pistols. And it's got a veteran engineer squad as well. Medium mortar, inexperienced, bazooka team, veteran, sniper team with pistols, veteran, war dog, the M15 with the heavy autocannon, and a white scout car.
This is not a competitive list.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. And you can see choices being made here that suggest the player is fantastic. He's come in and supported. I hope he has a really fun tournament, but it's not a list that will get you many wins. Even a top player might struggle because the vet officer straight away tells you, maybe. And then he's using Marine Raider units. I've never seen them use that tournament, so that's interesting. And I wish him the best of luck, but that list is not one that
they are stubborn though. So I mean, they're just so expensive for what's basically a few skirmisher units.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the issue. They're 6-man units that they're costing 108 points, 111, and then he's got a veteran bazooka. Well, it will survive maybe, but that's a lot of points for a bazooka. 78. Yeah. It's a veteran sniper, which is going to cost 69. Because they come with their submachine guns because they're American.
Everything is just so expensive if you run a veteran like this.
Absolutely agree.
Yeah.
And the M3 white scout car we all know is far too expensive for it.
Yeah. It's cool. I really like the model. It's really a gorgeous model, but yeah. Anyways, so then we have, and I'm going to have to slide down my list here because something odd went on here. Because we have a phoned-in picture of an army list here. So it's Allied Romanians, 12 order dice, and it's got an inexperienced second lieutenant. It's got mountain divisions with Panzerfausts and SMGs on the NCO. 2 of those, and 3 combat pioneer sections with Panzerfaust and flamethrower. It's got a medium mortar with a spotter, sniper team, light howitzer, and then what's that? Pintle mounted MMG. It's got transport. It's a truck. That's a truck, and a T-34, and the 3 combat pioneer section.
There's the 3 one. You're right. So you need 3 to get the 4th.
Yeah, you do.
3. Okay, that makes sense. Combat pioneers are no joke. They're no laughing matter. They're gonna cause people problems. T-34 is a bit of a standard pick, very similar to the Sherman, isn't it, that we were talking about?
It is.
It's an okay list, and fair play to the guy. He's turning up to the tournament to support it, and that's brilliant. I really hope he has a good day and enjoys himself, but that's not a list you're going to see any of the top teams picking.
No, it simply lacks transport for all those combat pioneers. If he had some of that transport, he might be able to deploy them up where they're most effective. Foot slugging, that's going to struggle.
They really need those trucks. You're quite right.
Yeah. Then we got 15 order dice Silo Heights. So this is something I expect something better from, at least, just looking at the selector here. Inexperienced junior lieutenant. It's got 2 Strafbat units. I don't know why the Spanish are still using Strafbats.
They love them, don't they?
They love them.
I was in Spain a few months ago, and I was still seeing them everywhere, even though they've been nerfed.
Yeah.
The issue is, it was before we thought the double pin effect just meant for morale and order tests, but it's been confirmed it needs for shooting and everything. So,
so 4 pins and they're out. But you know, they're still cheap.
This is true.
Yeah. And tank riders.
One other issue with them, I believe, he's got 7 unarmed infantry in each one. I think they don't get to fight in combat. I think that was confirmed in FAQ. So he's only got 5 men who can actually fight in a combat.
Oh.
So if you can get into them, they're not going to stand up for very long.
No. So they're basically just extra bodies for backline holders. Yeah. He's got 2 tank riders with body armor, SMGs. He's got an SMG squad, inexperienced, with 12 men. He's got a free infantry squad. He's got a flamethrower team, medium mortar team, inexperienced. The CIS-3, of course, and an AA gun as well, the autocannon.
Oh, okay.
And then 2 Stuart Dagger tanks and some transport.
Yeah, the gas is for the flamethrower and the truck on the infantry sections.
Yeah.
Tank riders go on the Stuarts, of course.
Yeah.
They're quite small teams, aren't they, those tank rider teams?
They are.
5 man, but I guess with the body army, he figures that they can survive.
If he can get them up to an objective and then just sit there next to a Stuart in body armor, he's not going to die, is he? You're going to need to go up there and root him out with your assault infantry or something.
Well, even Gurkhas will have a problem moving them because they need to roll 6s.
Yeah.
So yeah, that could work. Yeah, it's a good Silo Heights list. So,
it is.
Yeah, that's the best one we've seen here, I think, so far.
It is. Really like this list. I think that was it for this document. There's one more list from Spain4. It's here. And it's the 8th Army in Italy. 15 order dice. And it's got a 2nd lieutenant, inexperienced. It's got regular infantry, huge sections, full strength, 2 10-man sections. It's got a forward artillery observer, of course. It's got a Gurkha section, 7 men. It's got an engineer section of 8. A medium mortar, inexperienced, a sniper team, a Piat team, rapid fire, the Bofors anti-air gun, and a light howitzer, SAS jeep with all the machine guns, and 2 Stuarts M3A1. So not the Dakar versions.
No, what have we done? I guess maybe he can't have access to them for the army.
It's too late in the war. They pulled up all the machine guns.
Quite right as well. Yeah, that's the problem. They're not at that point. You've lost 8 shots from them each.
Yeah.
So we're not talking about your garden variety Stuart here, are we?
No.
And they're still vulnerable on the side as well.
They are.
Yeah.
But it is 2 tanks, and they're not that expensive. 115 points. It's not bad for 10 shots and a light autocannon.
Yeah.
Light anti-tank gun. Yeah.
He's done something quite fun as well. He's gone rapid fire as his special rule.
Yes.
And if you look at the regular sections, it's 9 riflemen and 1 SMG. So he's worked out. Yeah, I like that.
3 shots extra for each rifle section. That's a lot of shots coming out of those rifle sections.
Yeah, though if you've got Gurkhas, you'd probably, most people, if they've got he's only got 1 Gurkha section, but they'd be looking at up and atom.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Or
so
Vengeance.
He's got a lot of toys.
Yeah.
Vengeance, yeah. I like Tough as Old Boots, actually, to get the extra combat attacks. But, he's got all the toys, hasn't he? Bofors, Piat, snipers, medium mortar, so lots of different bits and pieces. It'll be fun to play, but, it's not one of the stronger lists, but a fun one.
It is going to again struggle if it gets pinned down. His infantry might not be able to move, and because it's skirmishes. Yeah, they've got a lot of shots, but are they going to be able to push people off objectives? I mean, those body armored tank riders we saw before, could they push them off objectives? I don't think they could. Maybe the engineers could, but yeah. Right. So that was Spain4. now we come to maybe one of the higher ranked teams, England1.
Do you want me to comment on the players as well?
Well, if you can tell me who they are. Because I haven't figured that out yet. I know that two of the joggers are going in this team, but only two of them. And I'm guessing.
I think there's one. There's one in this team. I think Topher, I think, is the captain, and I think Pete is captain of England too. I could be wrong on that. That's just what I've heard. I just wish him good luck. Hope they have a good tournament.
Right.
Where are we?
So we've got a 14 order dice Australian reinforced platoon. Yeah. So the forward deployment shenanigans. It's got 2 extra infantrymen for the lieutenant. So that is one who wants to survive in no man's land. It's got jungle engineers, 2 of those, 3 of those, 4 of those. Wow.
Oh, brilliant.
And a flamethrower team. That's 5 flamethrowers.
5 flamethrowers.
A Stuart light tank. Bren carrier.
I wonder what they're going to be used for. Yeah.
And then I don't know why this is, but I'm guessing the Easy Army couldn't really set this up right. So it's got another engineer section here with a Bren carrier as well.
Take an extra infantry section.
Yeah.
So that's why he's done that.
Yeah.
Because 4 of them.
Wow.
So he's actually got how many flamethrowers?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 flamethrowers in Bren carriers.
So we know what the strategy is with this one, don't we? I personally, I know these lists can work really well, and I know people like using them. I've seen US lists do well, but 6, it's a bit overkill maybe, when they will do the same thing.
Yeah. And
normally, at best, they're hitting on 50-50. And they're 5-man regular units, so you better hit. If you don't hit your target next turn, you are in a lot of trouble. Because you've got to be within 6 inches of your target, and it's just going to turn around and just blat you. So you're probably thinking you're going to lose half of them. So he's built in some.
There's a lot of redundancy here. He's going to lose some of that
quickly. Yeah, he's got aggressive patrolling.
Yeah.
How would that work against the Chinese list? Actually, that might prevent them.
I don't know. I don't know how that works. Well, both of the national special rules should be in place. So, but that would mean that the Chinese could not forward deploy, but they could still do the move, I guess.
I think so. Yeah. I like the list. I actually look. You've got 5 open. Sorry, is it 5 open top rain gun carriers. You are really, really backing yourself on getting your engineers in the right place. And the problem they've got again, I think this list would work really well, say, at my club, where the terrain is quite thick. The problem he's got, and
with a lot of ruins and stuff. I mean, I've seen your Stalingrad table. That would work perfectly for this list.
Because you can just drive through, stay out of target, and just drive through. And the problem is, if those tables are open, which I think they're going to be, this is going to be hard to play. Doesn't mean you can't, but it's a very, very finessed list, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a glass hammer, actually. It will really hurt you, but equally you can get hurt back.
Yeah. Right. So that was the first one. Second one, and that is a British tank platoon with 3 Stuarts. Already in the title.
Here we go.
3 Stuarts. 14 order dice, and then a command steward and 2 extras, and then Royal Canadian Engineers and 2 Gurkha sections, 7-man sections, and the Indians, of course, to get that extra infantry in. The 3 artillery observer, medium mortar inexperienced, sniper team, regular flamethrower team, Bren carrier, jeep, and 3-ton truck.
It's a pretty good list.
Yeah, it is.
For a British list, yes, look, it's 3 Stuarts. As soon as you say 3 Stuarts, and they are, the only thing they've got missing, ironically, is they don't get recce, which is interesting, given that the Japanese captured Stuart in Burma does get recce. So
I want to be able to buy recce for my British Stuarts. Please, Warlord Games, what is up with those rules?
But look, it's good. 3 Stuarts is no joke for anyone. He's got the engineers, Canadian engineers. That doesn't matter. He's just picked an engineer unit.
Yeah.
Gurkha. I think I know who's playing this. I won't say, but I've got a good idea.
Cool.
Yeah, they're a very good player as well. They will do well with this list because if it's the person I think it is, they play this list all the time. They know it very well, and this will be a tough list to play. Yeah, it's a good list.
Yeah.
I like this. Maybe my favourite so far.
Yeah, and I've played quite a lot of Brits as well. I've played quite a lot of Gurkhas. I know that this list can do a lot of damage. It does take a lot of getting used to. So you're going to have to play it a lot. But if it is a player who knows the list, they can really do well.
Yeah, that Commonwealth rule is a lifesaver for him here as well, because otherwise he's only got 3 infantry sections.
Yeah,
so now he's got 4. Actually, has he got enough transports for them?
Let's just check.
Controversial. I don't think this list's legal.
5, 7.
Oh, sorry. Look what he's got a Bedford QLT.
He's got the 20-man.
Sorry, I didn't realise.
He does.
Yeah, he's got transport. He can get 29.
He's got all the transport he needs. Yeah. Right. Next list is the Kwantung Army, the Japanese of the very early pre-war. This is a favorite of mine as well. We got a regular lieutenant. We got IGA veterans, huge squads of those. We've got engineers. We've got a scout team. Funny enough, we haven't got the cavalry.
They've been dropped today. Oh, I've seen this list. I was really surprised. I was expecting the cavalry to be there. That's interesting. Yep. That also means
we've got double inexperienced mortar. Sorry. Yep.
Sorry, I just want to say that also, of course, means his officer can't go on a horse. Whereas if you have one cavalry unit, all of a sudden you've got a mobile officer.
Yep.
Anyway, sorry, Bob.
Double mortars, flamethrower team, double field guns, of course, mule team, because they're so cheap. The SS Key, and 2 suiciders and a light truck.
Yeah, again, I'm pretty confident I know who's running this. It's an aggressive list. You can play it aggressively because the veteran units can take quite a kicking.
And they're huge. Look at that, 12-man units.
They are scary. The engineer unit is effectively an anti-tank unit for him. Yeah. He's got very little anti-tank. How many suicide bombs did we say? 2? Just the 2? Yeah. I'm of the view any good player should never lose a tank to a suicide bomber, because you should be aware of your distances. But they are useful for cutting off areas and preventing tanks from advancing.
And anyone playing against a suicide bomber, remember that when they run at you, that's a charge. So if they're outside of 6 inches, you actually get to shoot them. So most of the time, the tank would just mow them down using its machine guns.
Yeah, which is why the other guy took 3 veterans to try and get them through.
To try and run through the hail of fire.
Yeah. 2 inexperienced mortars with no sniper. It's a Japanese list with no sniper.
Yep.
Interesting. The reason what he's trying to do is the IGN scout squad will try and protect them. That's going to go forward and look to kill snipers, I think.
Yeah. He will. And then I think also that he will push his infantry forward, and then because that will often mean that the snipers get behind the lines and if they haven't got any shots. So sometimes for Japanese, I can understand you're not bringing a sniper if you want to aggressively push forward.
And you have to play this list aggressively, I think.
Yeah, I think you do. Right. List number 4, which is the Street Fighting Academy of Stalingrad. So we've got 18 order dice. Nice. That's a lot of order dice. Inexperienced junior lieutenant, veteran squad, and we've got 10-men veterans here with a Panzerfaust. 2 of those. Ouch. Assault engineers with double Panzerfaust and flamethrower. 3 rifle squad. Double sniper teams. Double flamethrower teams. Dog mine. 3 of those. Yeah. Heavy mortar, inexperienced. 2 M30s with the spotters. And a Katusha, and a truck, and a gas tank.
Oh my god!
I would not want to face this army. This looks like no fun.
One of the options he's got with the M30s, of course, now is you could fire, as long as he doesn't mind losing a potential turn on them for a turn 7. You can alternate the firing.
Yeah.
Because they have to do a rally order, I believe.
Yeah.
After firing on the next turn, so you fire one and the other one waits. Yeah. You could do that. Yeah, that's got all the toys, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Again,
It does rely a little bit on rolling those sixes with 3 multiple rocket launchers.
Agreed.
But if you can, then that is going to hurt.
Yeah, I think you need to be aggressive against this. You have to get up in his face quickly.
Yeah.
But those big vet.
But go up in his face and look what hit you.
Yeah,
2 veteran squads and an assault engineer.
Yeah, I think he's quite well put together. This I like this a lot. It's a good list.
It is. It's a really good list. And here we go. We've got the U.S. Marines of Peleliu. 16 order dice, second lieutenant inexperienced, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Peleliu Marine assault units. Double flamethrowers.
Double flame.
That's 10 flamethrowers just in the infantry selection.
Yeah, that's great. Again, it's MSU, isn't it? 16 dice and all small units.
Yeah.
Double
inexperienced medium mortar, double bazooka team, sniper team, medium howitzer with a spotter, truck.
And the great thing, of course, is they're American, so they don't get the -1. So they might be inexperienced, but your chances of bringing them on about 16% better than if they were not American.
Yeah.
The only criticism maybe, why, if they're inexperienced, why spend, 15, 30, 45, 60, 60, 75 points on MMGs on them?
Yeah.
That's a lot of points to put into an inexperienced units.
Yeah.
But you know what he's going to do? He's going to come across the board and just try and burn you.
Yeah, he is. He might even put some of them in outflank, even though they're inexperienced, because they're American. And that doesn't matter that much. And then just one truck with a Marine squad and a bazooka in it that can deal with multiple types of targets in each flank, maybe.
Yeah, it's, you know what? It's another glass hammer, isn't it?
It is.
Will really hurt you. Like double flamethrower, again, that means the odds of hitting are so much higher.
Yeah.
You almost feel like you're wasting points for doing that, but actually they're probably worth the extra 20 points to give you that certainty. Well, not certainty, but a much better chance of
I think it's a much better chance. Yeah,
it's a fun list. But it does have weaknesses. It will drop a couple of games, I think, but it will upset a few people as well.
Yeah. Right. So that was Team England, England Team 1. And then the final nation in the group is the American Team 2. So I'm going to have to just slide down and find my US2. 1, Team 2. Here we go.
And we're starting with Americans, I think, here.
Yep. 15 order dice, US reinforced platoon. Second lieutenant inexperienced, veteran engineers, 2 of those with flamethrowers, with BARs, and then 3 regular engineers as well with BARs, but no flamethrower.
No flamethrower.
I do not understand that one. I have to say,
1,000 point.
I don't get this. Medium mortar inexperienced, sniper team, flamethrower team, medium howitzer. No spotter though. A recce jeep and a Stuart light tank and dodgers for the engineers.
It's interesting. I suppose regular engineer, they may as well just be regular infantry. It makes no difference unless that gives them access to more BARs. But I think the US can get 2 BARs anyway.
Yeah.
It's, for me, and I know the Americans seem to play this kind of meta, it's a bit vanilla.
It does seem vanilla to me, yeah.
Yeah, still
but they do like.
Is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 flamethrowers is good, but a little bit vanilla for me. Sorry, that was my son calling me for dinner. So I'm probably going to end up with something burnt now, just like his opponent's going to be burnt. But
from what I've seen of the American meta, they do seem to like the skirmishes more than we do.
Yeah, and I kind of get it. They build all-comer lists to some degree, but against some of these European lists, they're going to be up against it, I think, with this. Yeah.
One thing I will note here is that there's no bazooka. Why would you take an American list and not bring a bazooka?
Especially when we think there's going to be a lot of vehicles. And we have seen a few tank platoons, not as many as I expected, but we've seen a few. Yeah, that's a good point.
But he is going to miss that bazooka, I think.
Yeah, you know what's going in the transport, so don't you as well? He's got 2 Dodges
Yeah,
in
of
the
course.
Jeep. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think you're
Flamethrowers
right. He will
in
miss
the
that
transport.
bazooka.
Flamer trucks. Right. So that was the first one. Second one, that is the British Reinforced Platoon. Again, a generic reinforced platoon, 19 order dice though.
Ooh.
Inexperienced lieutenant, Gurkha section, 7 men. Pioneer section, 7 men. No flamethrower. Forward artillery observer, another Gurkha section, another Gurkha section, and another Gurkha section. So that is 4 Gurkha sections. And then the Indians as well. A light mortar team, inexperienced. Sniper team, flamethrower team, Piat team, light howitzer, the 25-pounder, 3 early war motorcycles, and double jeeps here for transport of some of those flamethrowers, and the Piat, and then a Dhaka Stuart.
Yeah, it's a good British list, isn't it? It's got the toys you want in it. You've got the Gurkha units that can, we know they're far too cheap for what they do. That's why I use them a lot. It's got Stuart. Yeah, I like that list. I think that's a list.
Would you change up the national rule for this?
What has he gone for there again? I can't quite see it.
The Indian, he's gone for the free Indian squad.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. If you're running that many Gurkhas, there's a real temptation to make sure they work. And there's 2 ways of doing that. You either give them basically British Banzai, or
the Urban Adam,
or you give them tough as old boots because they get extra couple of attacks, which really, when you're halving your opponent's attacks, is worth even more. So it really guarantees his skills. You could have done, but I don't know. You can't knock 103 points, can you? And it's a 1,200 point list as a result. So
it is a difficult choice. Yeah,
it's a good list.
It is really good. Right. Then we have the Battle of Shanghai, 1937. It's a Chinese list, 19 order dice, and we've got and it's a nationalist list, so we're expecting some sword fighters here, I think.
Yeah.
Inexperienced lieutenant with an extra man. We've got regulars with rifles, 7 men, 2, 3 of those, and 1 of them with the initiative German training. A levy squad as well. No sword fighters.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Double medium mortar and a heavy mortar, so lots of AT.
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
Sniper, flamethrower, anti-tank rifle team, suicide anti-tankers, double Bofors heavy autocannon, 222, and a T-26.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Yes, not a build I've really seen before. The issue, I guess, is I love the idea of 3 mortars, but interestingly for a Chinese army, because it's national, I don't think it forward deploys, does it?
Nope, you don't.
So it's a normal army in that sense. He hasn't got any guerrilla sales or anything like that because he's, as you say, nationalist.
Also notice he's got 1 LMG in 1 of the units as well.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder what he's thinking there. Spare 20 points, or they've got a
particular
job, maybe. Yeah, there's just, I don't know, I'd like to see it played, because I can't see anything there that would scare me too much. Double Bofors is fascinating, because you can make a real gun line with that.
And if he starts rolling 6s with all those mortars, you're going to be in trouble. But
and he's got
keep moving, keep pushing, and you should be okay, because he hasn't really got anything that's very scary in the infantry department. Like his support is scary. He's got loads of good support.
Yeah.
But
he's got lots of dice. He's got to get his dice first, he's hoping. He can go down on the suicide anti-tanks when he doesn't need them. Base it back. Those Bofors, if he gets good positions on open tables, he's got a lot. He can reach out and really hurt you. I quite like it. It's different. I'd like to see it played. I agree with you, though. I think the infantry looks a little soft.
It does. Right. Then we've got list number 4, which is the Phony War French. And we've got a 16 order dice list, 2nd lieutenant, inexperienced. And then the Groupe Franc, which has got 7 men, submachine guns, 2 of those, 1 engineer section, and 3 more of the quick fangs with submachine guns. So loads of veterans here. Loads of veterans. Light mortar, inexperienced sniper team, medium artillery free, and an AMD Panhard. Early war motorcycles, a double Panhard, and 3 early war motorcycles as well, and a truck.
Yeah, very mobile. I like that.
Very, very mobile.
The only thing that surprises me a little bit with his choice of infantry sections, he could have taken more SMGs, so maybe he just didn't have the points for it, because they are one of the few French units that you can load up with SMGs.
Yeah.
Maybe the problem is you just can't get the models for them. it's
could be as well.
To get them.
Yeah.
But that's again, it's MSU. He's going to take casualties. They are vets, so if they get pinned, he can just go down and protect them. And that means he lets the vehicles run around causing trouble. But there is going to be a lot of anti-tank, we think, in this game. Well, we've seen a lot of anti-tank already.
Yeah.
He's going to be vulnerable to that with those vehicle choices. Recce does mean they might be able to survive. Look, goodness me. Look, if you've got a fight against 5 Recce units, it's very difficult.
It is very difficult. That everything here is going to move away as soon as you point at it.
Yeah, this is a tough list to play, but if you play it well, it could do well.
Good. Right. And then list number 5 and the final list for us today, which is Silo Heights. So every nation so far has brought a Silo Heights list, more or less. Yeah. 16 order dice, and it's got the junior lieutenant inexperienced. It's got guards without the Panzerfausts, 7-man units, double mounted recon with flamethrowers, and another 2 guard squads without the Panzerfausts. Free squad, sniper team, double light mortar teams. I would have brought medium mortars, I think. Double howitzers as well. Double Stuarts and a gas.
Yeah, so you've got the double Stuarts again. That's what the list is built around, really, the fact you have double Stuarts. He's taken advantage of the double artillery option as well. And he's got medium howitzer. I think he could have gone a dice 3. I think that's allowed by the list, which is a little bit more flexible. You can do more things. It's better AT, but fair enough. Light mortars. Again, if you're going to go inexperienced, maybe a light mortar. It's a 2-man team. You move it around. I don't know. I'm not a fan of light mortars, but I can kind of see the thinking there. Sniper helps protect them, and he's got 6 infantry units all doing different jobs. They've been sized differently. We look. It's a Silo Heights list, so it's going to be strong. No MLRS, and he has access to them, so that's interesting. This is someone who's going to be more of a surgeon than a butcher in the way he plays the list. Yeah, I like it.
Right. Russell, that was it. Your dinner is ready, and we are at the end of our pool. Do you have any favorites from this pool?
From this pool, well, I'm going to be biased, obviously, and say, well, I say biased. Obviously, I'm a member of the Welsh team, but I'm British. I think the England team looks good here, and I don't know who's in USA2. I don't think they're a real second team. They're more a different part of the US team, if that makes sense. Yeah. So they could be quite strong. It'd be interesting to see who they bring. I'd imagine at this stage they will be your 2 favourites in that poll.
Okay. I have a soft spot for my neighbours in Sweden, so I'll also throw them into the pool. They might be a wild card because we haven't seen them before. And then I know that the Dutch players are really good, but the lists are weird. So
I agree.
I don't know what that's going to be.
I nearly said they need to be to you, but that's a bit piffy. If they're playing the lists and they know what they're doing, then maybe we're going to learn something. That'd be great. Yeah.
That was it, everyone. Thank you for tuning in for this one, and I'll see you in the next video. Russell, thank you so much for participating, and sorry to miss you in Spain, but hope to see you in the fall. And would you just want to say a little bit about what's happening in the fall?
Oh, that's October 21st and 22nd. It's another team event, similar in some ways, 6 games, 16 teams attending, but 3-man teams. And we'll talk about that more maybe in other videos. We're focused on WTC for now. Wish them the best, and I hope everyone going there has a great time.
That was it. Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you both.